Welcome back. You're watching the Urban Debate on Minute. I'm Faye. Thank you for staying with us. We continue our focus on Kerala, and today on the show we will be talking specifically about the fake news that has done the rounds. We have people on the show with us who will bust all the myths and actually take a look at the photographs, the information, and tell you what to believe and what not to believe when it comes to the floods, when it comes to Kerala. Also, water has receded. In really good news today, our colleague Shrija was actually standing, on the street, giving us a live this afternoon, and the sun was in her eyes. And this time, it's the first time we actually see the sun come out in Kerala after so many days. So that's good news. And Shrija's with us right now. She's in Karakodam. Shrija, if you can hear us. Obviously, you've been out in the sun, and that must be a welcome change for the people in Kerala today. But tell us what you've seen today. What has been your experience on the ground?
Well, absolutely, Faye. In fact, we moved from Chenganur to Kollam, which is at least about 60 kilometers apart. And we saw how, in fact, there was scorching heat that we're talking about. Absolutely no rain at all. And we could see that Kollam was, in fact, back to normal, just like any other day. But apart from that, from Kollam, we have moved towards now Thiruvananthapuram, where the place I'm right now standing is Karakodam. So what we understand here at Thiruvananthapuram is that several areas were inundated. There were relief camps set up in this very location where I am standing right now. So they have been closed at this point in time. It's been over 2 days where they have shut the relief camps here at Karakodam, which was open to people from the nearby districts where they could come and stay and take shelter. But that gives us an indication where people have got back to their homes. This is in Thiruvananthapuram. Of course, it is a huge sigh of relief considering the fact that there is no rain at all. But remember, the bigger question remains still as to how they are coping up with the kind of the trail of destruction the floods has left. Now, that is a major question at this point in time. Apart from that, coming back to the state government here, the Kerala state government, we also see where the finance minister did point to the fact that where they require at least they are estimating a loss of at least 20,000 crore rupees. But coming back to Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan, where he had called for an emergency meeting, and this is this evening at 4 p.m. and a cabinet meeting with his cabinet ministers. We understand that he discussed, considering the fact that now the rescue operation has finally come to an end. But what remains with the state government is going to be a huge uphill task, which is rehabilitation and also to ensure that there is no outbreak of epidemic diseases. But we also see that the state government here, the health department, has tied up with World Health Organization. They have also deployed 13 World Health Organization members at different various districts to open medical camps and also to ensure that there is no outbreak.
All right, Shrija in Karakodam there, who's standing by. We also have Pramod in Alapura. Pramod has also been on the ground. Shrija, stay with us. I'll come back to you. You've spent some time today. I understand you're at the St. Joseph School where there are 1,300 people who are staying right now with volunteers. But I want you to first explain to us, Pramod, what you saw today. You spent some time on a boat, from what I understand, and you still met people who had not received any sort of relief up until now. Tell us what your experience has been.
Well, the biggest thing here is that right now the government has taken over and they're getting all the meals and everything, and these volunteers played a very important role in keeping them safe as well. They were the refugees, I mean they were the people who have been brought over here, and they were the ones on the left side, they were the ones who have taken care of them, and they have worked without tirelessness. In fact, in front of our eyes, one of the volunteers fainted because she was working here tirelessly. Even after having fever, she went to the hospital and came back because they knew, as and when we saw Alapura, most of this area is still underwater. 1.5 lakh people have been moved to relocation camps here. This relief camps, as per one fisherman store. He's the one who told us the water, as you saw in the visuals, has not yet resided. There is no power supply on the other part of the city. So they were the ones who actually saved them, fed them, and have been them here. Many of them have not even returned to their home. This is a mighty dedication. I'm just going to ask them like to what exactly happened and how were you able to sustain so long in this place, and why is that you're still here? Why don't you want to go back home? Why do you want to still keep them, helping them?
That's just we think that our family also like these. Sometimes they have also some problems and all. So we feel like our families have they
In trouble.
in trouble. So that's why we are here for helping them. And they were also cooperating, and our sisters are there, and they were also cooperating with us. And the management was unbelievable, and they have giving us full support. And we have some volunteers. They were standing here, and you can ask also them.
Yeah, sure. What exactly happened and how did all these people came to this school?
Actually, by 16th, most of the Kuttanad region got flooded, and at that time,
Kuttanad is still flooded, right?
Yeah, still flooded, and most of the people get hesitated, and they are not coming to camps and all. But at that time, they dropped everything and they came at single, and they came here. Almost 1,300 people are here. So we youth and most of the volunteers are not here actually. They are roaming around, looking all of the things all over there. So and we are not under any political parties, nothing. We are just youth, and most of the people are here. They are not going to working anymore, and they are all here from the morning till midnight. Yes.
How was the situation in Alappuzha right now? We could see that most of the houses are flooded, but on the other side you have power supply and everything. What is the current situation in Alappuzha?
Now in Alappuzha, the current situation is we have some electricity problems sometimes. And but we are managing that problems and all. And mainly that problem that we are not getting food not now. Now we are getting enough food and whatever they need that we are getting from government side, and the officials also helping us. Okay, and he was with us, and he's also from Mulathuvalappu here, nearby place, and he was also helping us for that things and all. And most of our volunteers are helping for everything, each and everything, for their food, for their provisions, and everything. And now we have in control. In this camp is under control, and we are waiting for the whatever they need. That the
so
things.
As there is still water here, when do you think the family can go back?
No, it will take some more time because
because Kuttanad is the lower region and the water is coming to that area only, and it will take more than 15 days to recover the Kuttanad.
What about returning power supply in that area?
That area power supply is totally cut off because on 16th itself, before that flood coming from that higher region, Kuttanad is already in that situation, flooded region, and most of the peoples are settled in the camps at there only in Kuttanad.
Okay.
When the water level is increased from that camp, rescued peoples to here to town.
So this is what is happening. Many camps here are unregistered camps, and immediately nobody hesitated, including they are the people who are managing this school, and they did not hesitate for anything.
Pramod.
They opened the gates immediately and gave residence for 1,300 people.
All right, Pramod, if you could stay with us, please, for a little while longer, because we have Mr. Thomas Isaac, the Finance Minister of Kerala, join me on the show. I have a couple of questions for him, after which I will come back to you. Mr. Isaac, thank you for joining us. Good evening. Our best wishes to the people of Kerala. I want to understand from you, we've given to understand the centre has released the 600 crore rupees that was promised to the state of Kerala by the Prime Minister and the Home Minister combined. So that's 500 and 100 for 600 crores. What is the status financially of the relief measure right now in the state of Kerala?
And now, the government has granted 600 crores of rupees. We are slightly disappointed with that because we had requested something like 2,000 crores of rupees, which is our immediate relief expenditure would come to something like 3,000 crores. Running of the camps, in fact, 1.25 million people are in the camps. Now the cleaning of the houses, immediate rehabilitation, and so on, we require something like 3,000 crores. But we are not unduly worried because of the very enthusiastic and warm response to the call for Chief Minister's Relief Fund. Now it looks like that it may go up to even 1,000 crores, the contributions. So that should see us through the immediate demand. But the issue of larger reconstruction of Kerala, the whole package is something like 20 to 30,000 crores. Now that would require very serious response from the central government. So we are going to start negotiations with that. So therefore, we are slightly disappointed with the central government response. Nevertheless, we are looking forward. We don't want to raise a debate and criticism, acrimonious, blaming each other and so on at this moment.
You say, Mr. Thomas, that you are disappointed
on relief.
But have you put in a formal request? Has the state put in a formal request for more funds other than the 600 that has been released already?
We had given initially the detailed data regarding the immediate relief of 2,000 crores, and now they have granted 600 crores. In fact, when the Prime Minister came, we had submitted the memorandum, talked to him, but that's what they decided, judge. But the Prime Minister, in fact, said this is a first installment, and let's see what the central government is going to do. We expect that central government will be more responsive to the concerns of Kerala. But look at the state governments in India. They have already contributed 153 crores to the Chief Minister's Distress Relief Fund.
Right. Mr. Isaac, if I understand what you're saying, you have received 600 crore rupees as the initial release from the central government. You have not made a request for any further amount. Now, it is possible that the centre may decide to release more funds to Kerala, but wouldn't it expedite the process to put in a second request?
Is that, look, now you are misreading it totally.
Okay, go ahead.
We have given detailed memorandum saying we need 2,000 crores of rupees immediately. Now they have granted 600. We have publicly said that that's insufficient. Our party general secretary has written to him. If this is standing in the way of granting more, I will send the letter tomorrow. That's not the issue. Now they have granted 600. We are preparing for a package for long-run rehabilitation of the flood-ridden areas. And let's see how centre responds.
No, you did say the party general secretary has written to him. Has the chief minister written back to the prime minister?
See, we have publicly said here, we have told the Prime Minister when he came here, we are given the memorandum.
There's also a rumour doing the rounds, Mr. Isaac, that the UN wants to help and is being held back by the government. Is that true? Is that a clarification you can give us for anyone who might have believed that today?
Say, now what I come to understand is that UN has sent a letter. We will consult central government and respond to it. Because when outside agencies do grant, particularly it is better to consult the central government. So that such a letter has come. We will consult the central government and respond to it.
You did say, of course, yesterday that you will be falling short on your budget for the state. When you say 20 to 30,000 rupees in rehabilitation, what plans does the state government have for this money? Where is this money going to come from? Or where is it going to have to come from?
So first is we want the central government, given this present situation, to raise the FRBM ceiling for Kerala by 1.5% of the GSDP. That's say 4.5%. That for 2 years should provide us with some say 25,000 crores rupees borrowing space. So that is the main demand. 2, we have decided today to go to the GST Council and ask them for permitting us to impose a cess on SGST. Now, IGST is on interstate trade, CGST is central government share, but SGST is entirely on intra-state owing to the state government. So at 10% cess on SGST. 3, we are going to request for higher share of centrally sponsored schemes. So these together should bring to something like 30,000 crores in a period of 1.5 years. And we are going to formulate a medium-term strategy to be implemented in 2 years for rehabilitation, reconstruction of the flooded hit areas.
Right. Mr. Isaac, we know that the sun has come out in Kerala today, and that must be a relief for a lot of people in the state. But I want to understand from you, in terms of things you need on the ground, whether that's medicines or bedding or clothing or anything else, is there an update you can give us? I know you're personally involved in relief work. What do people of the state of Kerala need from us right now?
Say, one, rescuing operations are almost completed. If somebody is staying in the flood hit area, that's their own volition, they want to stay there. But even then, we do take in distress calls, we take the medicine, food and so on to these people. So that stage is over. Now we are running the camps. I think we are fairly now self-sufficient with respect to food and so on and so forth. But if you say what we would require is one, clothes, dhotis, undergarments and so on, because most of the people have lost all their clothes in the house. 2, bed sheets. Now this is very important because when they go back to the houses, they will find it hard to sleep on the ground. It will be moist, it will be there. Therefore, bed sheets are very important. When they depart from the camp, say, few days later, in Kuttanad, it may get prolonged by another week. We want to give them a kit, not only of food, but also some basic, even pods and so on, so that when they go, they can start their life again. So there are certain gaps here, and we are looking forward to help, say, particularly in clothes and bed sheets.
Right. Mr. Isaac, what sort of help are you receiving from other state governments right now? I know that you were looking for some sort of help from textile industry for clothes and bed sheets, bedding particularly. Have you received any sort of help in that area?
Maharashtra Finance Minister's office had called me, and they have asked what further help we would require. I said it would be very good because they have a textile center. They could send us a supply of clothes. And also, see, we are implementing green protocol in the camps. Therefore, we don't want to use disposables anymore. So we are urgently looking for supplying every camp being made with a plate and a glass. Now that's a huge number, at least 1 million plates and glasses. Even if you are not able to reach to everybody, but this is one specific instance I think it is very, very important.
Yes.
For example, in Alleppey, we are buying about 50 to get 50,000 plates and glasses. We need another 50,000 plates and glasses for Alleppey itself. So this is another instance where I think useful help can be given. And once rehabilitation starts, we need a huge quantity of chlorinating powder and so on for sanitation equipments. Yes, for example, high pressure pumps so that houses can be cleaned.
Okay.
Now these are not really available in Kerala. We'll be grateful if such as help can be given.
Mr. Isaac, a couple of questions. In terms of the armed forces and the rescue relief, NDRF, how long will they continue to work on the ground in Kerala? Will you need their help for rehabilitation as well? Or will these teams now start to return to their bases?
Rehabilitation would be largely operation of volunteers from Kerala itself. But there would still continue to be pockets which will not be accessible normally by our vehicles or boats, and therefore we would appreciate the continued help. But I cannot now quantify how many is required and so on. But they did play a very important role in rescuing people. But in terms of numbers, the role played by Fisherfolk of Kerala has been an eye-opener. In fact, we had taken a decision even before this calamity to raise a volunteer rescue squad from the Fisherfolk. And in fact, permission has been given for recruiting and training the first 200 batch.
Right.
But now that decision has been more than proved right, and therefore the volunteers like this, totally Fisherfolk from other parts of the Kerala, they are going to be involved in rehabilitation, cleaning up the say houses, premises, and so on. So the role of the army would be very rapidly declining.
Yes, Mr. Isaac, also there were rumours or there was news that aid that came in from overseas was being held at airports for custom clearance for far too long. Has that problem been solved in Trivandrum and Kochi airports at this point?
Yes, that problem has been solved. And the union government has exempted the relief material from custom, and therefore it's going to speed up. Yes, that has been solved.
All right, Mr. Isaac, many thanks for joining us here on Mirror Now. I do understand that this is a very busy time for government in Kerala. We wish you luck. And I do believe that once things start to get a little stronger, it will be time to have a conversation on the causes of these floods and what we can do to make sure it never happens again, and should governments be more responsible or responsive when it comes to the environment. But that should ideally happen after we've made sure that every single citizen of Kerala is safe and dry. Thomas Isaac, Finance Minister of Kerala, there joining us live from the state. Thanks for joining us. If we have our reporter still with us, I do want to go back to Pramod, who was talking to the people who have in fact been heroes of Kerala over the last couple of days, who've opened up their homes, opened up schools and colleges and fed people with just resources of their own. So tell us, Pramod, how have they managed to feed 1,300 people over 3 days till the government came in?
Well, it's very interesting because until the government gave him, here you see, these are the real heroes. What have they done is that they have used the social media on a positive end. They are a little bit blushing, but the actual fact is that they use social media, WhatsApp, created a group and made sure that everybody will provide whatever they could collect. And they did collect it, make it to a point. And he did not know him, or neither did he not know him. But only after coming over here, they know each other. And in Malayalam, he said a very nice thing. Can you repeat it to me? When he said like Christian, please repeat Malayalam. Yeah.
Okay. ഇവിടെ നമുക്ക് ആലപ്പുഴയിൽ ഒരുപാട് ക്യാമ്പുകൾ ഉണ്ട്, ഇപ്പോൾ നിലവിലുണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ അൺരജിസ്റ്റേർഡ് ക്യാമ്പ്സും ഉണ്ട്, രജിസ്റ്റേർഡ് ക്യാമ്പ്സും ഉണ്ട്. നമുക്കിപ്പോൾ ഇവിടെ ഞങ്ങൾ കൂടി നിൽക്കുന്ന ആൾക്കാർ ആരും ഞങ്ങൾ ഒരു മതത്തിൽപ്പെട്ടവരല്ല, ഒരു പാർട്ടിയിൽപ്പെട്ടവരല്ല. എല്ലാവരും യൂത്താണ്, എല്ലാവരും ഹെൽപ്ഫുൾ ആണ്. നമുക്ക് ദൂരെ നിന്നും ട്രിവാൻഡ്രം, എറണാകുളം, തൊടുപുഴ അവിടെ നിന്ന് വരെ നമുക്ക് ഫുഡില്ലാത്ത സമയത്ത് പോലും ഫുഡ് കൊണ്ടുവന്ന ഒരുപാട് ആൾക്കാരുണ്ട്. അവരെ ഈ സമയം നമ്മൾ നന്ദിയോടെ ഓർക്കുന്നു.
Well, he tries to say that at this point everybody came together. He wanted to show that every church, mosque and temple in this place opened their gates for the people to stay. And he just used one very important word, that any Keralite who saw another Keralite down, he just reached for it, gave the hand and pulled him up. That is how they had worked, and this is how they were able to sustain 1,300 people in this camp. That's the camp. You could see the people there, and they are having no problem at this point. And government has taken care of control of it only 2 days back or something. But until then, these were the angels who were providing them food, water and everything, and made sure that nobody worries about their home. They said, like, until you are staying here, you be happy and you be safe, and once it is done, they'll go back. And even now they are assessing assessing the points because there are so many unregistered camps. As I mentioned earlier, an unregistered camp is nothing but a small house where there could be a minimum of 10 to 20 or 30 people, and they could not have any kind of communication. Phone lines has been only restored now. So they went over, they discovered the places, they remotely went over there, they used the help of fishermen, and they want to thank the fishermen as well on this point because they were also playing a very important role in rescuing. Can you tell about what they did?
Actually, most of the boats from fishermen, they came and they go to Kuttanad, Chenganur and all the regions, flooded regions, and any information or something that they just went and they rescued from a single day about 60,000 odd people, something that we don't know the exact, but they done a great job, but we want to thank them. Otherwise, the situation will get much worse, yes.
So they were the ones who have saved thousands of lives and they still remain nameless. And what?
We also want to thank the women volunteers here. They are equally hardworking for the rescue team, and even night they were
Even
camping.
one of them fainted.
Yes. Her name is Neha. He hardly working with the first day of the camp, and till now he's sick.
She was studying in
11th standard.
Yes, she was studying in 11th standard, and unbelievable that she was here for them and for everything, and from early morning
even
to
she had fever. Then also she came here, worked day and night, and that's why now she found out.
Well, there you see the actual strength of the youth. These are the people who use social media together for a better performance, and they used it in a positive note, saved 1,300 people, fed them, and they kept them alive until the government could reach. The government is providing rice and vegetables right now. All other materials are also over here. Generous people. Everybody has turned generous, and whatever they have, whatever they could save, they have brought into the camp. This is one camp in the St. Johnson's High School. There are every school and college at this point has been converted into a camp because, like they mentioned, a minimum of 60,000 people, and the number, some even claim like 150,000 people are at relief camps only. So they are trying to sustain. They know that at least for a week the water will not recede, and they're trying to make sure that they will be safe here.
All right, Pramod, from that camp, is there a shortage of anything at all that you can tell us? We just had the Kerala Finance Minister tell us that plates and cups is the shortage right now for people to eat. Is there anything else as information that you can give us?
I'll put the question to the volunteers itself because they are the ones who seem to be running around round the clock at this point. Is there anything you require at this camp right now? Is there a shortage of anything?
No. Now we are getting enough things.
Actually, the problem is we have enough things, enough materials in SD College, Alapura. But what the problem is, the things are not getting to the needies. Some authority restrictions or something that we don't know. But there are so many unregistered camps. Most of the people are staying in some buildings or something, remote places. So they are not getting anything. So they are getting encouraged to us. There is anything, there rice or something. So we are balancing that. When the government are getting all those control, then we can get that.
It's a very interesting point. They are not waiting for any kind of authorities or any kind of permission. They are finding the restricted, the areas that are not unregistered, and they have collected, because right now this place is getting rice and vegetables and everything, but the food and anything that is donated by the NGOs, they are going ahead and providing it, because going to a government, getting the permission, go to ST college and then collect it, it's taking time and you don't want to waste the time. So that way they have created their own network and they are also providing it to the needy.
All right, Pramod, many thanks for bringing us that update. Pramod is now bringing us stories of the heroes of Kerala from the ground there in Alapura, is where he is at the St. Joseph's School, where 1,300 people have been looked after by civilians for the last 3-4 days. The government has only now been able to come in and provide rice and vegetables, but up until then it was ordinary citizens who were looking after each other. Pramod, thank you so much for that very heartwarming story. Now, the other thing we want to deal with today is all of the fake news, the WhatsApp messages, the misinformation that has been doing the rounds with regard to the Kerala flood over the last couple of days. With me on the show is Jency Jacob, Managing Editor of Boom Live. Boom Live is a fact-checking organization. This is what they do for a living. We're grateful to them. They checked facts. We'll also have Anshu Gupta of Goonj and Shreyams Kumar, Joint Managing Director, Mathrubhumi, and Chairperson of the Kerala Regional Committee of Indian Newspaper Society join us as well. But first, Jency, I'm just going to go through this entire stack of fake information that my team has put together. Rumour number one, relief camps were running out of medicines. The Kerala Health Minister, in fact, confirmed and clarified that that is, in fact, not true, that they have enough medicines. Rumour number two, epidemics were spreading in flood-affected areas, and the fact is confirmed by the government that no such epidemic has spread so far. These are rumours 1 and 2, but I want to now go across to rumour number 3, and this one comes in with a fact check from Boom. Now, there was one Twitter handle that put out a message, and that's on your screen, you can see it, saying a man has refused to accept a saffron jacket and he died as a result. Jency, that is not at all true. Although it was picked up by a couple of news organizations, that is not true, is it?
So that's actually a news which came on a satire news portal and was criticized by many people who wanted to understand that why would you want to put up a satire news article like that at a time of great tragedy that has struck the state, and not just in this case, but even otherwise as well. But now that's a different debate altogether, because satire news websites or satire websites across the world always want themselves to be treated in another manner and not to be looked at from an editorial point of view. But there were many people who actually believed it, because as we've been saying this in the past as well, no one really bothers to go and check whether the About Us section of the website to see whether it is true or not. For many people thought that it's quite interesting. For many people, it was also a lot of the ideological biases that were being talked about ever since the floods happened and the rescue was being talked about. Many people talking about that don't donate money to a certain community, or the fact that attaching various religious motives to it, why the floods could have happened. So when you look at it in that context, probably when this story came in about the saffron life jacket, it may have been very easy for people to believe that this could have happened. But as we always say, that when you find the story to be too good to be true, please go and do some basic fact checks to check whether in the About Us section whether it's a credible news website or not, and to also see if there are credible news channels like yours and publications, whether they are themselves covering this story or not. If they are not, and if it's an isolated story, it's better that you don't forward this.
In fact, Jency, this next rumour, this is rumour number 4, that is the most worrying, and it was an audio clip and almost everybody heard it. This audio clip went completely viral on WhatsApp. It was a fake clip of a BJP leader discouraging donors from helping Kerala. It basically said that people in Kerala are really well-to-do, they're rich, they're middle class, they don't need your charity, they don't need your matchboxes, they don't need your candles, they don't need anything. In fact, we have that clip, and if we play it out, our audience will recognize this, because you've all heard it, and in some cases, some of you might even have passed it around.
Now, let me tell you one thing. Most of the people who have been impacted by the floods in Kerala are from very well-to-do families. They are either middle class or upper middle class or superbly rich. They don't need money. They don't need sanitary napkins. They don't need matchboxes. They don't need candles. They don't need money. They need nothing.
Now, Jency, this was put out by a person called Suresh Kochatil, who we understand is with one of the political parties. He's been called a BJP worker on Facebook at least. What facts have you unravelled when it comes to this audio file?
Faye, this is a mix of a lot of opinion, a lot of prejudice, probably some facts as well, because he does have a point when he says that what Kerala does need as well are a lot of labor, because at the end of the day, just look at the visuals that we are seeing, houses submerged, the electrical components that are being talked about, the furniture's destroyed. So you do need a lot of labor to actually go out and clean. Now, this is also something an entire generation of citizens in Kerala have never seen a flood. The last flood of this proportion being talked about nearly 100 years back. So yes, he does have a point. But on the other aspects, as as such as he's mentioning the fact that, Malayalis are extremely rich and most of them have lost their houses. Nothing can be farther away from the truth than that. Let's remember that flood waters are not differentiating between a rich home and a poor home. I mean, when the waters are gushing down after the dams have been opened and because of really heavy rains, the water will make its own direction. It will find its own space and it will take everything in its way. And that's how, there are videos that are going around of really beautiful houses completely submerged underwater. At the same time, there are people who have lost their entire livelihood, their entire life savings that they have put in houses, because in Kerala, as we know, and it's quite popularly known, that people really love their houses and they love saving money to build really big houses. Not because they really can afford to do that, but just because they feel that that's one way of probably announcing to the world that that they have arrived, or the fact that they do like to live in good houses. But that does not necessarily mean that they are rich. What it just means that that probably there's a higher standard of living in Kerala. And whatever is talked about, the fact that you don't need matchboxes, you don't need candles, or you don't need food items, that's not true. There are relief camps which are still waiting for relief materials to reach, and that's the reason why many of the people who are organizing these things are repeatedly getting requests to do that.
Absolutely. In fact, we have Anshu Gupta, the founder of Goonj, who is currently on the ground in Kerala, from what I understand. And Anshu Gupta, this sort of misinformation on WhatsApp and social media could derail, the good work that's actually happening on the ground. So it's very important also for audience members to, if you don't want to trust anyone, that's fine. The government of Kerala has actually done a fairly decent job in communicating directly with people who want to help. There's the Chief Minister's website and there is the relief website that's being updated every day on what needs to be done. But Anshu, how important is it to not believe what you hear on WhatsApp or social media?
No, it was, to be honest, very surprising, because on that particular day when it was released, I must have got at least 50 or maybe more than 50 WhatsApp to me. Everyone, my closest friend also asking me, Anshu, is this true? I mean, that was a common sentence what people were asking, Anshu, is this true? So I was really wondering, that how we actually die for a negative news or a negative comment in life, because for the last so many days you have been watching all kind of media coverage. I think fortunately in the last 1 week, media has covered it very extensively, almost all the channels, newspapers and all that. And you see every single thing which is bad, which has never happened. I mean, I don't remember in my 20 years of work that there was a time when so many lakh of peoples were there in the in the relief camps. And we might we might call it a flood or whatever, but the fact remains that there has to be a different world for this kind of disaster, where 30 plus dams are open in one go and the water just keeps flowing. And in that kind of scenario, when people are watching it day in, day out, and it's still some useless character or someone, on this earth creates a audio, video, picture, whatever, because, it's not the only one. There were a lot of things which were roaming around that time, as my friend also said. So I think somewhere we also need to understand that the time has come that we understand the gravity of thing, and it's just because one negative comment, one negative thing is happening, we can't ignore everything else.
Yes, we can't ignore everything else. In fact, there was another website, and this is rumor number 5, Jency, another website that claimed that a landslide has happened in areas after a dam has burst and taken the death toll even further. Again, no dam burst in Kerala. There were no cracks in any of the dams in Kerala. No such thing happened. Another very dangerous rumor to pass around when there is a state already, this nervous.
Over here, you could see that people were really, really scared, and every day there was something happening where people were talking about one dam opening more, one dam which is 100 years old will burst any time and all. I mean, it was really different this time.
Right. I'm going to go, I want to take this to Jency. Jency Jacob, rumor number 6, Cristiano Ronaldo has donated 77 crore rupees to Kerala relief work. I don't know where people picked up the number 77 crore rupees, but is that true? Has Cristiano Ronaldo given us 77 crore rupees?
So,
7 is his jersey number, I'm told.
I'm not a big football fan, except the fact that I watched during the World Cup. Yeah. So precisely. So since he's called CR7, so many of my friends who are really crazy football fans, they said, don't you know that the reason why this could have happened is because they've converted that 7 and they would have said, 7 crores. Then they felt that, Cristiano Ronaldo cannot donate only 7 crores. So let's add one more 7 to it, So that's the fun side of it. But I really found a lot of people actually going on his Facebook page and writing to him saying that, Kerala is down with really heavy floods, can you help, can you do something and all of that, So it shows the emotional connect between the fans and probably their football stars, especially in the case of Kerala as well, because we know that football is a big game there.
Right. Rumor number 7 is the Mullaperiyar Dam developing cracks. This again has been rebutted by, by the government themselves, who the secretary issued a notice saying that this is completely baseless. The dam has not developed any cracks as alleged, and the cyber cell has been directed to trace the source of the rumor. And this is important for people to know that this is not being let go of. All of these rumors are being considered, actually very, very dangerous to society. Rumor 8, that the Electricity Board has shut down its operations. Again, this is information we picked up from Boom, Jency. This was not true.
Yes, in fact, both these rumors, when we look at it, especially the dam burst thing, if you would have seen our story, express.uk, now it's a website in the UK, they carried this burst in capital letters in their story, and a lot of people on Facebook picked this up. Now, when there's a difference between saying that the dam gates have been opened and waters are flowing out and saying that there's a dam burst. But when probably in colloquial terms, when it is passing around on Facebook and on Twitter and on WhatsApp, that people often tend to miss the fact that it's not a burst, right? It's because intentionally the gates have been opened, otherwise that those waters have to be released, and that's the reason why floods have happened. Now, this kind of misinformation is also happening because of fear. And Mullaperiyar Dam, there's this controversy has been going around for years now, in fact decades now, and there is always this fear that there's something really bad going to happen to that dam, and that has been probably taken across all the dams in the state. And when you look at it, along with the fact that really heavy rains have happened, gates have been opened, water is coming out, it's very easy to probably pass on this information just out of concern for others, and to just tell people, get out of the way before the waters take you along with them.
Right. And Jency, I want to go now to rumor number 10 to my team. Images being circulated of Seva Bharati workers aiding Kerala flood victims, and that's the image there. And this was as well a photograph that was shared, but this is not a photograph of Kerala, is it, Jency?
Yeah, in fact, we have seen some images of Bihar being used and several other images as well. Now, this is an extremely sensitive issue because the RSS always feels that their Seva Bharati, people who are out there in every state and the kind of work they do, they never get the credit for the kind of work they do, probably which is justified in some form. But, it's very strange, Faye, that, this is the first disaster in any state in terms of a natural disaster that I've seen that there is so much of rancor and there's so much of communalization of the entire relief work that is happening. Whether it is saying that that Seva Bharati workers are the only ones who are doing it. Where are the Christian priests? Where are the missionaries? Where are the Muslims who are otherwise very dominant in the state? It shows that how a divide is sought to be created. Maybe not necessarily from any organizational perspective, but at least from the people who virtually day in and day out, this is their job on social media, to create a divide, to also create a divide where there none exists. And it's a fact that is known that in Kerala, all the three religions have actually peacefully coexisted.
Yes.
So where there is no divide, you create a divide. That's where you are able to gain politically.
Absolutely. We've run out of time right now, but this could not be a more important thing to say. With the advent of such a massive disaster happening in the era of social media and WhatsApp, the kind of things that were said, the kind of things that were circulated were disappointing and heartrending, and most of it, let me point out to you, came from outside Kerala. The people inside Kerala don't care. They don't care what your political conviction is, they don't care what your religion is, they don't care about anything other than just surviving, staying alive and salvaging what is left of their beautiful state. And we have to remember that. We have to remember that the beautiful festival Onam that should have been celebrated in the Sunday coming up is celebrated by people of every religion. Because what they have in common is that they are all from Kerala. They all speak the same language. And that is greater than what defines them or what makes them different. It's going to be a long road, an uphill road to rebuild the state of Kerala. And they're going to need help from all of us. We're going to keep the story alive as Kerala rebuilds itself. But in the meantime, the team of Mirror Now sends its love and its support and its best wishes to the people of Kerala. This is the Mirror Now team that has been working non-stop for several days to cover the Kerala floods. And now while rehabilitation begins, we have one message for all of our brothers and sisters in Kerala. I know this is going to be a very difficult time, but don't worry, don't be afraid. All of India is with you. Our prayers and all of our love is with the people of Kerala.
આ મુશ્કેલ સમયમાં કેરલા ભૂલતા નહીં. આખું ભારત તમારી સાથે છે.
এই কঠিন সময় কেরালা মনে রেখো
আমরা তোমাদের সাথে আছি, আমরা তোমাদের পাশে আছি, আমাদের সাহায্যের হাত সব সময় তোমাদের সাথে থাকবে.
इस कठिनाइयों से भरे समय में घबराइए मत केरल, हम आपके साथ हैं.
केरळवासियांनो, या अत्यंत खडतर आणि कठीण काळामध्ये आम्ही सर्व तुमच्या सोबत आहोत. तुम्ही काळजी करू नका.
हिन दुखे वक्त में केरला इंडिया तमाम संग रहा है.
এইটো মই জনাব বিচাৰিছোঁ কি যদিও আপোনালোকৰ এই মুহূৰ্তটো অতিপাত জটিল ভৰা, পাহৰি নাযাব আমি সকলোবোৰ আপোনাৰ লগত আছোঁ.
ਇੰਨੀ ਮੁਸ਼ਕਿਲ ਘੜੀ 'ਚ ਕੇਰਲਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਘਬਰਾਉਣ ਦੀ ਕੋਈ ਲੋੜ ਨਹੀਂ. पूरा इंडिया ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ आहे.
केरला तू काही भिये नका. तुझ्या या कष्टाच्या वेळार सगळो भारत देश तुझ्या सांगत आसा.
இந்த மாதிரி கஷ்டமான நேரத்தில் தைரியமாக இருங்க, கவலைப்படாதீங்க. இந்தியா எல்லாருமே உங்களோட தான் இருக்கும். எல்லாம் நல்லபடியாக முடிஞ்சிடும், கவலைப்படாதீங்க.
ಕೇರಳನಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಳಯ ಯಾವ ಹಂತಕ್ಕೆ ತಲುಪಿದೆ ಅಂತ. ಆದರೆ ನೀವು ಯಾರು ಭಯಪಡಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದಿಗಿದ್ದೀವಿ. भारत ही मुंदिगे.
प्रे करा, दुआ करा कि जल्दी से जल्दी ये मुसीबत मकले तो तोय करू पाने नॉर्मल लाइफ पे स्टार्ट.
కేరళ వాసులు ఈ బాధాకరం పరిస్థితుల్లో మేము మీకు అందరూ సహాయం అందిస్తాము. మీరు ఏం భయపడకండి.
ഈ വിഷമമായ സമയത്തിൽ നിങ്ങൾ തനിയല്ല, ഞങ്ങൾ മിറർ നൗ നിങ്ങളുടെ കൂടെ ഉണ്ട്.